All right, everyone. Welcome. This is another video that I kind of wanted to do. It's kind of impromptu. I wasn't going to do a video on it, but after I saw Tisa Tells video on the Blue Origin flight uh, and how TikTok thinks it's fake, I thought I'd kind of like go through the video and give my like 2 cents on it as well. I kind of talked about it a little bit on my stream, my last stream before, not the one yesterday, but the stream before it. I talked about it a bit and what I thought about it. So I thought I would give some insights onto what some people on TikTok were saying. Agree with some things, maybe dispute some things, and go from there. So yeah, not a usual type of video for me. If you know what my content's about, but I might start doing a little bit more of these. We'll see. But anyway, so let's start it together, and I'll skip to the parts that I think are relevant. All right, so here we are. This is what kind of started me down the like, wait a minute. I already was kind of like, okay, I don't really care. That's one. But I wasn't really thinking along lines like, oh, this is like the this is kind of like what people were saying about the first like moon walk that we have, quote unquote, and how it was like faked. I wasn't really thinking about that because I'm like, we're in 2025. We've already sent up some people to space. We just had 2 people go up to space. So I wasn't thinking like, okay, maybe this is all like a publicity stunt or like fake. Once I saw this footage though, that's when I'm like, okay, what? So uh this is what started me down the train of, okay, this is possibly all fake then. And so yeah, so basically what happens here, as you see, Jeff Bezos goes to the door and he opens the door with a wrench, but technically the door was already open.
Watch that again. The hatch that was up in space accidentally opens from the inside, which they then go to correct because it's not media time. Then Jeff Bezos pretends to open the capsule, which it just pops open when he uses the tool. And as you notice, the capsule opens inwards. And with a little research, you can find out that every space mission with a capsule, the hatch opens outwards, being called a standard safety measure. So this right here is automatically a red flag.
Yeah, so now this is like this makes it even worse for me. Like, I didn't know that part until I watched this video. So when I watched this video, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I asked, so before like I said, I wasn't even gonna do a video about this because I did some research, and by research I mean I asked a bunch of questions on ChatGPT. I was like, let me just ask and see what ChatGPT thinks about this. Originally, when I did my first question and ask to ChatGPT told me that, oh yeah, the door opens inward, but that's fine. Uh, Basically, there's a mechanism that allows the people inside the ship to open it because they don't want, for like, let's say you get trapped somewhere and then you gotta wait for someone to open it for you. There's a mechanism that after a certain time that the door would basically open. Got it. Now, after seeing this video though, I asked a different question to ChatGPT. So I was like, okay, right here, I got this wrong. It's supposed to be Apollo 1. But basically, I said, okay, great. I'll go back up to this part. I'm going to skip this part for now because that's for later. But I said, okay, great. So shouldn't the door of the ship have opened outward? Isn't that mandatory since Apollo 13? It's supposed to be Apollo 1. This is basically what he's saying in his video. ChatGPT now responds like, oh, good catch. Again, you're bringing in Apollo 13 like a pro, but you're absolutely right that Apollo 1, not 13, had a tragic incident that led to big changes in hatch design. after the cabin fire during a ground test in 1967, NASA made it a rule that hatches must open outward quickly and easily, especially in emergencies. But here's the twist with the Blue Origin's New Shepard. The New Shepard capsule does have an outward opening hatch. Now, I don't know if there are two different capsules, because he's saying New Shepard. So I don't know if there's a new Shepard or if it's considering this New Shepard. I was just thinking that now. But let's just say hypothetically, I could ask them, but I did ask them actually. I did say like, oh, hey, but it opened inward in the video. They're saying that the new one has an outward opening hatch. And long story short, I was like, okay, yeah, but that's not true. Basically, it did open inward in the video. ChatGPT is like, well, it must have been your point of view. So this is a totally different response, basically. They said addressing the perception of inward opening. They're saying that it was due to the perception or angle of the camera, which is just not true. So, yeah. So this now gives me even more bearings to believe that this is faked. This current ship, this is not a perception or capsule. This is it opened inward. So that's why people or his viewpoint is that this is fake, because there's rules and regulations specifying that you shouldn't have an inward opening capsule based off of what happened with Apollo 1. So now I'm like, well, was this a red herring to like all real astronauts that this was fake? Because if you're doing exploration and you have all these examples, why would you, and all these rules, why would you then build something that goes against the rules unless you had good reason? And this is something that I would think that you wouldn't have good reason for, because this is literally people's safety.
Then Jeff Bezos pretends to open the capsule, which it just pops open when he uses the tool. And as you notice, the capsule opens inwards, and with a little research, you can find out that every space mission with a capsule, the hatch opens outwards, being called a standard safety measure. So this right here is automatically a red flag. Not to mention that the capsule that went into space and back into orbit has no burn or torch marks on it, perfectly clean. And just for reference, this is the Dragon capsule that came back into orbit, and as you notice, it's burnt to a crisp. Another thing I'm saying,
okay, going back off of that. Now, I do feel like I'll give ChatGPT the W on this one. I like ChatGPT a lot, but yeah, you have to kind of like be careful, because as you can see, some things sometimes it could give you one answer, the next time it might give you something else based on how you phrase the question, based off what information it's able to source. So you kind of have to go back and forth with what other people are saying, and also what to kind of like verify in certain instances, especially if you're not versed on a topic. So I asked this. ChatGPT says that it didn't actually enter the atmosphere at orbital speeds because it didn't go into orbit. So they're saying that this is a suborbital flight. So it just went past the Kármán line, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is just considered the edge of space, and then it falls back down. But it never travels fast enough to create extreme friction you would get during orbital re-entry. So that's why they're saying that they don't have these burn marks that people are saying, like, what the hell happened? Where's the burn marks? Like, this doesn't look like it. So I'll give them that. That might be the case. That, okay, hey, this didn't really go into the atmosphere, or leave to go into orbit and then have to re-enter into our atmosphere. So that's why it never really went fast enough. It just went to the edge of space. So it's not going to get that same like burn up sensation that you get when you re-enter. So I'll give it that. I'll give them that. I'll say that's debunked.
Bunch of truth tellers point out is how perfect all their hair comes out after being in zero.
All right, now this is interesting.
Like, you're telling me after all of that, you're still able to come out with perfectly groomed hair? Like, you would assume them to come out to the extent of something like this. And that's not even mentioning they went up into space with leggings and a fantastic...
This is a good fucking point. Now, the hair thing, I didn't even think about. So they're saying that if you're going up into space, if you see the actual astronaut, her hair is literally like levitating, basically. There is no like, oh, half of it's down or half of it's up, and like kind of like how you see in the video with the girls. Their hair is not really levitating. They're saying that all their hair should have been standing on end, basically, because, you know, you got zero, you're zero, you're at 0G. Or so like her hair is like this, but theirs is not. Now we could go back to ChatGPT's answer though. Maybe they're just not far enough in space to get this. I really didn't ask ChatGPT about this, but maybe they're not far enter in space for their hair to do this. Since they didn't really enter into the orbit or whatever GPT says. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it didn't go into orbit. It's suborbit. So, you know, they didn't really go into orbit. So maybe if you don't go into orbit, this doesn't happen. But this is what their discrepancy, like another reason why they're saying it's faked, because their hair isn't levitating like this. So I would have to ask ChatGPT, like, hey, would your hair do this, honestly, in order to really debunk this? But yeah, that's another thing that they're saying. Another reason why they're saying this is fake.
Like this. And that's not even mentioning they went up into space with leggings and a Fantastic Four costume. But I guess there's no need for astronaut suits or helmets when you're faking space, right? All
right, so this is my major complaint. I've asked ChatGPT, not today, but in my prior research, I've asked, they said that you don't need it. That you don't need the leggings. Well, you don't need the helmets. I still disagree. I don't 100% agree with ChatGPT's reasoning for that. I agree with everyone else's stance that, like, you need something. Listen, normal people, not everyone, because everyone, it affects differently, but just going on a regular flight, some people experience different sensations than others. So like, for instance, a perfect example is like a travel blogger that I watch, Jeb Brooks, like him and his wife, like they fly around a lot, do a lot of flights. And I always was like, yo, y'all, some of them like, he's done like 6 flights in a day or something like that. And I'm saying to myself, like, yo, that doesn't bother you after a while? Like, you don't have any problems with your ears or anything? And, you know, it seems like it doesn't bother him. But his wife, recently in a video I saw, she said that she got an ear infection or whatever from doing like 3 flights in a day, or one of the times that they've went. So they have to like be more careful with their health and stuff. So, you know, each person, it affects differently. Some people it might not affect at all. Some people, you're going to have some effect from that pressure going up and down, and that pressure being in it and then being decompressed from it. So you're telling me that, you know, I could go 40,000 feet in the air and that's going to bring some problems, but I'm not going to have any problems going 1,300 miles per hour with no helmet, experiencing all the G forces that come with that, and then I'm also free falling back down to the earth, and I'm not gonna have any problems. ChatGPT says that yeah, you might experience some air poppings or stuff like that, but you should be okay. I'm kind of laying on the fact that that's a crock of bull. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I agree that they most likely would have needed some sort of helmet, or if anything, they would have needed some sort of pre-flight training, some simulation to see how their bodies would be affected by this type of flight. So that's where you start like this was fake. Now, if they had said, I don't know, maybe they did have some pre-trainings, pre-simulation, but I don't think they did. The way what they're saying is that they had a briefing that day and then they went up to space. That to me is a crock of bull. For instance, think is Disney Mission Space Ride? Yeah, Mission Space Ride. This ride, I went on this last year. I went on this. You have one that's the stream side, the stream version, and you have one that's like just a kind of like a normal. So let's say you have one that's hard mode, you have one that's regular mode. I went on regular mode because, I just wanted to like see. I never been on it before, and I didn't want to go on a stream side and then like be like fucking having problems. But yeah, so I went on a regular side. Now this is basically simulation of how it would feel if you're basically launched into space in a fucking rocket or whatever. The pressure in that, I was like, oh, okay, damn, like, yeah, this is really intense or whatever. And that was the regular. So you had to deal with the pressure being as you're being shot. Like you feel the pressure on you. It's not like, like how you take a regular flight and there's nothing there. Like you feel the pressure. So you're telling me that they did all of this in this little thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. After I took that ride in Disney, I was like, yo, I don't even know if I would ever be able to go to space, because I don't think I could last the amount of time, the length that I don't think I could endure the ride it would take to actually go up there, because the amount of pressure that I felt on that ride, if it's anything like how it is going in reality, or even a smidget of how it is going in reality, I was like, oh, I wouldn't be able to make it. Like, you could count me out of space exploration unless, they make it like almost like how it is to just fly on the earth, where you don't feel pressure. You just go up. Yeah, you might have some popping in your ears or something like that, but you don't feel that G-force. You don't feel that on your chest and shit. Like you can't move. Like you're just stuck there. Like, so yeah. So I'm like, y'all just went up like this, and then y'all came back dropping for the free fall until your parachutes release, and y'all have no prior simulation, no nothing to see how this would affect you. We're talking about a 70-year-old woman at this point going up there, and you're good. Bullshit. Like, that's the part where I'm just like, this is absolute bullshit. Yeah, so here you're seeing that they're saying that they're passing through 80,000 feet, 1,300 miles per hour. That's, I'm just like, 1,300 miles per hour? Like the pressure that's on you, and you're up there. And when you get up there, you're talking about a 70-year-old woman like Gayle King. Like, she's not young. So you had no prior simulation testing to see like if you could even endure this. Like you literally could have had a heart attack at going up there. Like, I need y'all to stop with the bullshit. Like, just stop. You literally could have had a fucking heart attack up there because of the pressure or like, and trying to really endure that to make sure that your body is able to withstand that type of like pressure or just like the extremeness of the situation. Like if you're able to like really be able to handle it. That's why you have astronauts training. If any Joe Smo could just do it, you know, then any Joe Smo would do it. And I'm not saying that, you know, other people haven't done it that aren't, you know, astronauts. I'm just saying that I would think that you would need some sort of simulation training just to make sure that you can endure this type of stress, because it's not a walk in the park, basically.
Wait. How in the world are they doing like nothing just happened?
Yeah, so they're saying that they dropped here at 25 miles per hour. I also looked this up for ChatGPT. I'm not going to really go into it because I'm just like, whatever. ChatGPT, I don't remember exactly what it said. It said something along the lines like there's like some sort of system in the capsule that will kind of like reduce the actual impact when it hits the ground. I don't know. But I kind of have to agree with them, like with the fact that I think they were all like screaming and shit like that, like jumping for, like you're not going to be fucking doing all of that when you're in. You'll be bracing for impact. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
They need to stop. So they just hit the ground that hard. Coming back from outer space. And nobody shaking up. They just Okay, I've seen enough. 60s to the 70s where people just kind of got to believe whatever they hear on the radio. Bro, we got video footage, information. We got each other. We can share common sense. There's no way anybody's actually believing it.
Where's their partially pressurized suit and parachute pack?
Yeah.
Where are their helmets? Where are their protective gloves? I don't see any of this. But a bunch of dolled up hair, which would have never had a helmet on it. They catapulted it into space, rocketed it into space with no protective gear on, going at speed faster than an airplane. And you mean to tell me that all of this right here is real?
Yeah. That's where I'm like, yeah, exactly. Nobody's buying it.
Educational and entertainment happens to cut too.
So he has some good points.
What's this smoke right here after she fell? We'll run it back. Take a look again. What's this smoke? There's smoke, and then that's right when the clip happens to cut too. Talk about that more in a second. How come her hair is so stiff? Look at how stiff it is. I thought this was supposed to be falling. My name's Nightfall, by the way. I do this for educational and entertainment purposes. Is there oxygen mask? Is there gloves? Protective equipment? Oh, this one right here. What's that thing? Bring it back. Is that thing moving with her? What is that? I think we should look at this smoke cloud again real quick. Tell me what this smoke cloud is. Right before the clip cut. It's just a cloud of smoke that just comes out of this left side of the frame, right as she falls. That's not the only thing either. What's going on with her hand? Look at her hand, how it just seems to be attached to that camera. Why doesn't she drop the camera? Right here, look. Why is the camera just like attached to the top of her hand? That's not what a hand holding a camera looks like. That's right where the clip ends too. Look at this one. There's a little shooting star. What is that shooting star exactly? If there's turbulence on an airplane, they drop the mask down. Everybody's got to gear up. Aren't they all in turbulence? You understand too that only one of them is even a real astronaut? Don't you need years of training and experience? Basically, a group of celebrities sent to space allegedly. This would be an insult to all astronauts who have been training their whole life for something like that. Where were their helmets that entire time? Look like blue Power Rangers. So this right here, this is the biggest thing. This is like showing wires. Also, for anyone thinking this is about gender, he did the same thing when those other two astronauts just came back. Same 25 miles an hour. And they were flying around like freaking butterflies. And this is you after a 25-mile-an-hour collision with the ground, jumping around. You're not fazed by the fact that you're just in space flying around. You're not fazed by the 25-mile-an-hour impact on the ground. You just jump out of there, hands up. And not just one of them, all of them. Here I am, shirts all unzipped. They got no helmets, gloves, nothing. Dropping, no gloves, no helmets, no oxygen. They're just celebrities, not even astronauts, to be honest. Smacking the ground at 25 miles an hour. Gail is freaking upset right now because she's not able to fool all. This is why it bothers me, because I'm so afraid everything's online. Coming from people that I know. Gail, why would we think a 70-year-old went to space first try?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not tricking everybody anymore.
That's what I'm saying. First try. No simulation testing. No, like, to see what effects it had on her body. Nothing. Just up in there. She could have had a fucking heart attack. Like, you gotta be out of your damn minds.
Because you do something. How much does that cost? Do you realize I can't even afford dinner tonight? Wallhead can't even get on a fucking job site without a helmet, boots, gloves. What is doing to inspire other women and young girls? Please don't ignore that. I've met so many women and young girls.
So.
Men too, by the way. Men too. Wawa cannot survive in space.
I might have forward passed it, but there was another point someone made that the other black girl, from Bahamas, I believe, I don't know her name, but they were saying that she has breast implants, which is like, you cannot fly into space with that because the pressure would basically collapse them, which I believe, because just like I said, when I was on the fucking amusement park ride, the pressure, I was like, damn. And that's just the fucking regular one. It wasn't even the hard mode one. So I can't imagine you're going at 1,300 miles per hour with breast implants in, and your chest is being compressed. Like, you cannot move. Like, there is no, I'm going to tilt my head this way. I'm going to fucking, like, move my leg up because, you know, it has a little itch there. Like, you're just stuck there until you fucking get into the atmosphere or into orbit or whatever. And I don't even know that. You might still feel some pressure up there. I've never been there. But I know that when you're launching, there's no way you're moving at that speed. So it's like, yeah, I could see that you wouldn't be able to go if you had some sort of breast implants or something like that. So did she get them removed? Because if she really has breast implants, that makes it even more liable that this shit is fake. But anyways, I talked enough about this. I just thought it was like an interesting video. It was funny. A lot of the clips. So if you want to check out the full video, this is on Tisa Tells is her channel. The video is called TikTok Thinks Blue Origin Flight Was Fake, and their receipts are legit. The evidence is loaded. I will post the full link in the description. But so yeah, I hope this was, interesting to you guys, and let me know if you think it was fake or not in the comments below. And thumbs up the video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Bye.